Hey everyone, Dan here. Before you get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. And keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy.
All right, folks, here we are on Tuesday, January 23rd. We're going to take a look at Fisker today. So Fisker swooping down, making new lows here. If we zoom out, you can see the disaster that is all of this price action. And making new lows down here at 76 cents on the dot. But the interesting thing, if you look back here again, this downtrend resistance that it's banged on for a bunch of times, hit it here once, twice, and then tried to break free. And then all that led to was an even greater plummet, right? It was trying to break free here between like the low fives and the low sixes or mid sixes, and then it just got absolutely slaughtered down below $1. Tried to hold on at like $1.40, that level that we have there, and then when it lost that, it was just a fast sprint to getting under $1. So that's just the reality. That said, if we just take a look at the most recent motions here, we have one bang there that got hit down, and again it's tried to sidestep as it was trying to build a floor at 140. That's what I thought maybe had some potential back then, but it made a 2-day break and then it just got slaughtered. So hit the second time there. So I'm wondering if it's about to make a third attempt. After today, it's a bit more questionable. I had already decided to do this after I saw this motion coming in yesterday because, it is coming off of this floor. These candles are pretty double bottomy. This day the low is 7627, so it's just slightly above the 76-cent level, which is what you would want to see on a back-to-back double bottom if it's going to do anything. Of course, it doesn't mean it has to, of course. And then, yesterday, this sort of disaster of a candle with this, sorry, I'm a little bit sick, the very heavy top wick, and even this candle was up over 17%. And then today, coming back down just about 3.5%, but it's just a crazy ride here. And yesterday it looked like it was sort of priming to try to make a motion toward there. After today, I'm obviously not quite as certain, but we'll see what it's able to do. I mean, it could either sort of jump up and make a go at it and maybe get there by the end of the month-ish, or it could sort of go sideways, maybe slightly down, and get there toward mid-February. This is all with the presumption that it is even going to make contact with it again, because it could, of course, just never touch this, right? I mean, it's on like the course that I just zoomed out on and showed you. So there's, of course, the possibility that it's just never going to reach this again. But if it does, again, I could see a world in which it gets there by the end of the month. It's going to take some relative strength and sort of consistent motion to get there, but it's possible. If not, again, like early to mid-February is certainly plausible as well. Even if it has like a slight drawdown, it could make that happen. So we'll see how that looks. But, for the time being, these levels, there's not a ton to go off of. This level here at about 103 could be something. I mean, it sort of pushed off of there today. The high today was 103.2. And you see these like the top of this candle body, bottom of this one, and then the bottom of this one, they're all sort of within that realm. It's like 103.04 area. So I'll stick that on the chart just so we have it, and who knows if it comes into play or if it ends up meaning much of anything at all, but if so, we'll have it there. And then, if it does continue to rise, there's not a lot to do to the downside, because what are we basing it off of, So I'm just going to let that sort of be informed by the Think or Swim study over here. The one good thing, I guess, was at least this motion here doesn't look to me like it really left a gap. 86.80 and low of 87. So there's like a fraction of a penny of a gap there. So I don't know that it will be sort of even if it does come down to fill it tomorrow, for example, I don't know that that would be because it needs to come fill that teeny tiny gap. It could just be that that's the overall consistent motion of Fisker. But yeah, if it could establish or even sort of like pin itself like it did up here when it was kind of pinning itself to or just above this like 140-ish level, if it could kind of do the same, pin itself to or even maybe slightly underneath this like 103, basically the battle for a dollar. So maybe it's sort of like 98 to 104, something like that. Maybe that gives it again an option to collide with this sooner than later and sort of see what happens, but time will tell. Now on the think or swim side of things, we had this trigger and fire. Not the most interesting trigger setup to me. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's can't be fruitful, but it was triggering while it was sort of like motioning up off the bottom bound of the channel to the mid-range and then back down to the bottom, and then it fired, and all it did was kind of pushed it through the bottom of the channel, which is fine. Percentage-wise was still a big move. It's hard to tell in a stock that has such volatile big moves and they can last for quite some time, if that was even indicative of the trigger and fire, if it like meant anything, or if it's just sort of like it's Fisker being Fisker. So we'll see what happens. But if we zoom in here, what could be interesting, while it is sort of like bearish momentum still slightly picking up, it is ever so slight from like this candle to this candle to this candle. So is there an opportunity to start throwing in some yellow candles here, meaning diminishing bearish momentum while it has worked itself back into the channel? And it wasn't the wimpiest move back into the channel. I mean, it was out of the channel here, came in and was able to push, like I said, that that candle looks disastrous over here, but here it actually looks like, it made a valiant effort to get mighty close to the mid-range of that channel, straight on a one candle effort from coming out of the channel. So, that's not nothing. That's a pretty impressive move, to be honest. Now, obviously it's getting beaten back a little bit today, but it still is, now has some space between the lower bound of the channel and where it finished the day. And so, is it able to establish? Obviously, these channel levels are going to move down toward it, so the mid-range is going to get a little bit closer. And so I'm going to be looking to see, can it hold in this channel? And if so, does that give it an opportunity to make impact with the mid-range? And I would love to see some yellow candles coming in here if, the bulls are going to have any sort of hope, even if it's just a temporary slight reprieve from all of the bleeding. All right, folks, I hope that your week is off to a good start. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.